Right now, how federal funding cuts could affect Madison city projects.
Plus, a veterinarian keeps his license despite animal abuse claims. Happy Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Savannah Brito at the desk with us to start off an hour. And the spring weather, we're just getting spoiled.
We have been.
We're so spoiled by this nice spring weather.
40s, the 50s, the 60s. I mean, I was outside on Sunday, even yesterday.
I'll say yesterday wasn't even that bad. It was a little windy, but like overall, like I could be out there.
If it wasn't for the winds, it would have been a lot better. But today we'll see less breezy of conditions. So that's some good news. Even though it's a cooler start to the day, overall later this afternoon will be a lot warmer. Right now across Dane County, we're tracking 130. That's in Perry. It's a little bit cooler here in Madison, 26. Still not a bad start. At least temperatures are close to where they should be early this morning. We've got plenty of 30s closer to freezing level and even warmer towards the lake. We'll see that overnight here, pretty much across the rest of the area where we have warmer lows as well heading into early Thursday morning. We're tracking the mid to even upper 50s across southern Wisconsin today, even warmer tomorrow, and then a lot warmer by Friday. Could see some 70s out there across southern Wisconsin. But with the warm up, the chance of severe weather increasing across southern Wisconsin. We'll time out the threats and also just in general who could see the best chances of severe weather heading into late Friday. That's coming up.
Savannah, thank you. To our top stories this morning, federal funding cuts could pose a problem for many of Madison's city projects.
Public services like police and emergency medical services are paid for by the city budget and local taxpayers, but the city does rely on federal funding for large-scale city planning and development projects. We talked with City Finance Director David Schmidtke, who told us that those projects would be impossible without federal help.
Major infrastructure projects sometimes are beyond the capacity of local governments. The expectation is that those dollars will come through.
So here are some examples. Plans affected by potential funding cuts include the second bus rapid transit route. They could also impact affordable housing and clean energy projects. Schmidtke says if any cuts were to happen, the consequences would be difficult to bounce back from. In national politics this morning, a stopgap bill to avoid a federal government shutdown is now headed to the Senate. There, it will require Democratic support. Last night, the House passed the bill that includes additional funding for veterans' health care and immigrations and customs enforcement. The bill needs Senate and presidential approval by the end of Friday to avoid a shutdown.
The Department of Education is cutting nearly half of its workforce. Employees received a memo yesterday telling them to vacate their offices and work from home today. The department's offices are now being temporarily closed so layoffs can begin. Those cut will go on administrative leave beginning March 21st. It will take 90 days for the layoffs to take effect. The state assembly is considering a bill that would bar transgender athletes from playing college sports. The GOP-backed bill would assign UW and technical college sports teams based on the sex of the participants, which is the sex established by a physician at birth. The bill also bans trans women or students assigned male at birth from using women's locker rooms. The governor can veto the bill if it makes it past the Assembly and the Senate. He has done so with similar bills in the past.
The lead veterinarian and facility manager of Ridgeland Farms dog breeding will keep his license. This is an update to a News 3 Now investigation. Richard Voldeman has been the staff veterinarian at Ridgeland since 2006. He, along with the farm, have been publicly criticized for years because of claims made by animal rights activists and former employees. Both sides were discussed at yesterday's hearing.
The animal extremist groups are using this as yet another tactic in their 8-year campaign to close Ridgeland Farms.
If having two former employees both testify under oath to witnessing the mutilation of hundreds, if not thousands, of dogs over the course of decades, that we're supposed to be under the care of this veterinarian, if that's not enough to warrant the revocation of that veterinarian's license, I would just ask what is.
Van Mellon will keep his license, but the board did move to adopt a stipulated agreement put forth by his attorney. News 3 Now has not been able to confirm what those stipulations are.
6:05, let's check in with Savannah. What's coming up?
An alert day on Friday. We'll time that out and also talk about storm planning when it comes to a few days out, how to prepare.
And ahead in your morning sports, we're talking Badger men's basketball. We'll tell you who earned a unanimous spot on the All Big Ten first team.
And we're gearing up for Madison's Shamrock Shuffle here on downtown this weekend. We're going to have a preview coming up.
News 3 Now this morning, moving forward.
Well, happy Wednesday. Temperature is definitely a little bit cooler, at least to start the day off, but you'll notice we're going to be warmer as a whole today. Partly to mostly sunny skies. Right now, partly cloudy, 26. It's not breezy outside. Not worried about that. It was pretty windy the last couple of days. That will not be a factor today. Winds are going to increase with the next system. Dry at least until Friday. Friday morning, we could see some spotty showers, but then we are tracking alert day conditions at least later in the day Friday, when even isolated severe storms are possible. For the most part, Madison and then southwest, along with areas towards La Crosse, that's where the best chance of severe weather is late Friday evening into the early nighttime hours. Basically, any area you see in the yellow color, that's a level 2 out of 5, where the best chance, at least locally, is of seeing those severe storms. I do think they'll start to break up once they hit Madison and continue traveling further northeastward towards Sheboygan and Manitowoc. Those areas are still under a level 1 out of 5. That's where the lowest threat of severe weather is, but there are still factors that we're going to see. We do have high wind shear, which means the change in wind direction with height and speed. We have that along with pretty decent lift. There's still some limitations, though. I think the best storm chance is going to be once we hit close to that 10 p.m. time frame late Friday evening into the early nighttime hours. Strong winds are going to be the main threat along with heavy rains. All modes of severe weather, though, are going to remain present as we head for late Friday. Storms are possibly going to weaken. We talked about that. I really think that's going to be once it hits Madison, and then beyond that, we'll start to see that begin to weaken. How about storm plannings, though? We're a couple days out, though, the day before, so tomorrow, make sure to adjust your plans. Have several ways to get watches and warnings, just more than beyond what your phone gives. Review your weather safety plan and secure those loose objects outdoors, because we are talking about this later in the day. Peak daytime heating, though, we are going to see the lower to even mid-70s, so it will be very warm, but I don't think that moisture is going to be best. Dew points are only forecast to reach about lower to mid-50s. Like to see numbers a little bit higher than that. That's why I think damaging winds are going to be our main threat. Just make sure that you're staying with the First Warn Weather Team. We'll have all the latest. After that, definitely going to be cooler. Rain continues Saturday with a chance of snow on Sunday.
It was a weekend of celebration for the Wisconsin women's hockey team. Saturday, they won their second straight WCHA tournament title, and then on Sunday, the Badgers found out they were the top overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, as far as who they'll play on Saturday, with a spot in the Frozen Four on the line, well, that's to be determined. It will either be Clarkson or BU, but they won't find that out until Thursday night.
A little more challenging when you have two teams that you have to look at, but it's a good position to be in, and then it's just, trying to get players refocused after, the celebration Saturday afternoon, the bus ride home.
The only thing is we'll have to watch film a little bit later than usual, or we'll just watch film on both teams before. But yeah, in terms of preparation, not much changing. We're just taking care of ourselves.
Before the season, John Tonje was rated as the 296th player in the transfer portal. Turns out he was a little better than that. And the conference has taken notice after averaging nearly 19 points and 5 rebounds per game. Tonje earned a unanimous spot on the All-Big Ten first team. He's the first Badger to garner first-team honors since Johnny Davis did it back in the 2021-22 season.
It's definitely a blessing, to be in that position and get to represent the university like how I get to. And I think it is a team award.
That example speaks more words than I can throw into it, just because you see somebody take a jump like he's taken and become, one of the more recognized players in the country.
Some good news heading into Indy. After missing Wisconsin's last 3 games, Max Klesmit practiced yesterday and on Monday, and he's, in his words, feeling good and gonna play on Thursday. Greg Gard reiterated that and knows just how important having his veteran leader back in the lineup will be for this team.
It's a big piece of this team. It's an important piece just because of how this group has all come together. So when you pull one of those cogs out, it has an impact. It's important for us going forward to have him back because it's when we're whole and we're healthy, we're a good team.
Bucks taking on the Pacers in a big game in the Eastern Conference terms of standings. Giannis and company up 3 with 3.9 seconds left, and Tyrese Halliburton dials one up from deep and gets fouled in the process. The old 4-point play gives the Pacers the lead. That'd be the ball game. Bucks fall 115 to 114. And that's it for Morning Sports. Have a great day.
All right, it's 6:15 on our Wednesday. And speaking of sports, we all know basketball teams battle for the championship in March. But what about Wisconsin cheeses? With over 600 varieties crafted in the state, there's some serious competition.
Yeah, we got Haley Heinzel here, the 77th Allison Dairyland, joining us to talk about their bracket competition they're going on. Which cheese is going to make it into the Final Four? Which one will be crowned champion? This is something fun you guys started not too long ago, and you brought it back this year.
Yes, we've been going for a couple years now. In America's Dairyland, we certainly take pride in our cheeses, which makes a lot of sense when we produce 25% of the cheese in the United States. We have over 1,200 licensed cheesemakers producing those over 600 varieties, so it was really hard to narrow down an elite 8 of those cheeses, but I'm putting them head to head, just like a basketball bracket.
Love this. And people can get involved on social media and weigh in, and then you tabulate everything up. And
yes, we've got one for voting right now on social media. So there's Munster and Alpine style going on. It's live on Instagram right now. But this morning, we're actually going to be talking about our next voting. So coming up, we're going to be talking about Parmesan and Havarti cheeses. So we've got two big titans. I know, it's a tough one. Our Havarti cheeses is really creamy, really buttery, Danish in origin. It was actually named after the farm of the lady who invented Havarti cheese.
Okay.
We've brought it to Wisconsin. We've really perfected it. Super creamy, super melty, super buttery. People love Havarti cheese, and I've got that represented by Roth, which is one of our cheesemakers here in Wisconsin. Then on the other side of the table, we've got Parmesan, of course, coming from Italy, loved for those huge wheels. It's been a titan in the cheese industry since the 14th century. Take it to Wisconsin, and it's a proof that legends only really get better with time. So
I think we're gonna have to try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going for the Parmesan first.
I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try
so
to grab both, but okay. I'm not a big cheese girly, so I'm. Okay.
It's really good.
I can't just eat like this cheese regular like this. I need something. Okay, Parmesan's pretty good.
Oh.
Okay.
And then you got the Havarti over here. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's softer. It's buttery.
Yes. Yeah, Parmesan's a little more dry. Definitely would do like more like a meat pairing with that, something a little salty.
This the one.
Yes. I say it's really hard. I say it's like picking your favorite kid, really, when it comes to cheeses, but.
You can't just pick one. No. But how can we tell that these products are from Wisconsin?
So you can make sure to look for that Proudly Wisconsin cheese badge or the Proudly Wisconsin dairy badge on all of your cheese or dairy products, or you can look for the number 55 on your milk packaging to ensure that that was packaged here in Wisconsin.
You brought some chocolate milk in this morning.
Wow.
Yes. March is not just big for cheese, it's also big for all Wisconsin athletes. And chocolate milk is actually the official beverage of the WIAA. Yes, it is the perfect beverage for recovery after sports. So there's 13 essential nutrients that can help power you throughout the day. It's perfect for kicking the day off at 6 o'clock in the morning, but it's also perfect for after a basketball game.
I love that. Cheers.
I haven't had chocolate milk since I was a kid, probably.
There you go.
Long overdue,
Go
long
for it.
overdue.
Yes.
All right. Haley, thanks so much. If people want to participate, where can they go and how can they find it?
They can head to Facebook or Instagram. Just search up Allison Dairyland. Head to my story. You can vote right on there.
And we'll have more of these details on our website, channel3000.com.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's
Cheers.
As good as our memory.
Well, coming up in our next half hour, a federal crackdown to help protect Jewish students. But after this, we'll go out to Josh, who is live in Madison.
In the 608 today, we are looking ahead to St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Our Josh Prider is live with how the Shamrock Shuffle is giving back in Madison. Josh, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, we're about 72 hours away from the Shamrock Shuffle, right where I'm standing here this morning. We're on State Street. This is where all the fun's going to be happening as we kick off St. Patrick's Day weekend. Claudia Mena with Boys and Girls Club is joining us this morning. Claudia, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You know, last time we talked to you, we were talking Coats for Kids. Now we're talking about the Shamrock Shuffle, and you guys are really, really excited for this.
Yes, we are. It's a fun run-walk event, so we're very excited, and it's supporting the Boys and Girls Clubs.
So how does this exactly work? Because obviously there's a lot of fun involved, but this is also making a huge impact on your guys' mission too.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone who registers is helping the Boys and Girls Clubs, as well as our sponsors are also helping the Boys and Girls Clubs. All of those proceeds go directly to us.
So we have some video we want to show folks because this is such a unique event and a big event. This is a Madison staple going back many, many years. So let's talk a little bit about why it's so important to get the community involved for something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been going on in Madison for over 20 years now. And it's not just a run-walk, but it's an entire community event celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So everyone's enjoying that, wearing fun costumes, as well as supporting a good cause.
You know, when it comes down to it, your guys' mission in the community is about community. So when people come out to support an event like this, they're helping you in your mission every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mission is to ensure that all of our youth are served as best as possible, and that this is exactly what that is. Everybody coming together. It takes a village, and we all come together to make sure that all of our youth, especially the ones that need us most, are helped every day.
You know, when it comes down to it, obviously there's still time to be able to register. How does that all work for folks that are maybe interested in coming out here Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. So feel free to register at bgcdc.org/Shamrock Shuffle, and you can register today, sign up, and come run with us on Saturday.
So it's kind of a lot of fun. Do you have any idea about what numbers look like every year?
Yeah, we're about at 2K runners right now, so we're aiming to keep that number going. It's a super high number for us right now.
And that's pretty unique because, I mean, that's a big number, especially for this time of year. It's still a little chilly, but the weather's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, but even if it rains, people are going to come out and support the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Yeah, nothing stops this community. And this is something that can really be for everyone. This is for the whole family.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody can come. We're also introducing a new bike ride this year, so people who want to bike can bike our 10K route.
I love how you guys are always looking for something new because this community strives for anything activity, right? So you guys are always trying to look to see what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's invited, regardless of ability. Everyone can come.
I love that. All right, anything else you guys got moving forward here for the Boys and Girls Club that you have coming up?
We have our white party coming up in the summer and just a ton of events that help our clubs.
I love that. And if people are interested, you guys obviously are working 365 days of the year. What's the best way for them to support you any day, not just for the Shamrock Shuffle or some of these other events?
Yeah, absolutely. We always are looking for volunteers as well as any donations that people want to support us with, which would be at bgcdc.org.
All right, so if people are interested, Shamrock Shuffle, 72 hours away. Are you excited?
So excited, as you can see.
You're all in green. You're looking great.
Thank you.
Well, if you'd like to learn more about the Shamrock Shuffle, you can go to the story up on channel3000.com. We'll be having a little bit more fun later on in the broadcast. Again, News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of the Shamrock Shuffle, always helping the Boys and Girls Club with their mission here in the community. I'm Josh Prider, live in downtown Madison. News 3 Now this morning continues right after this.
Morning. UW-Madison receives a warning. What the federal government says the university failed to do.
Plus, remembering an icon, mourning the Bucks player turned owner.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. On a Wednesday, I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Unley. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. We've had a real cheesy start to our day.
Yes.
Okay. We were tasting some Havarti cheese and some Parmesan cheese.
So good.
I'm not a big cheese girly, so I'm having a hard time right now with the aftertaste of things. But if you had to pick which one, between those two,
the Parmesan, yeah, it's just too good.
The Parmesan, okay.
It's full of flavor. Just savoring it is delicious. Really good stuff. It was made not too far away, too. I love that. You, on the other hand, we're still trying to ease you into some of these acquired cheese flavors and tastes.
Exactly. I'm trying my best. I think Savannah got a little taste of them.
We're trying to mature your palate.
Yes, and I don't know how she felt about them. Savannah, which one did you like?
I like the Parmesan better, but I like the texture of the other cheese better. They were both really good, though. I don't know. Can't complain. I like cheese. I didn't used to like cheese, but we like cheeses now that we live in
Not
Wisconsin.
to like.
Right? We have to, especially cheese curds. It's one of my favorite foods. So good. Well, temperatures, guys, 26 in Madison. All across the map, we're tracking a couple of 30s closer to freezing level. We got plenty of 20s. Definitely cooler than yesterday, but still close to where we should be for this time of year. Won't be breezy. It's not a factor at all this morning. Will be mild, and temperatures actually rise all the way into the upper 50s this afternoon, so about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. That warming trend is going to continue Thursday and even into Friday, but Friday temperatures could reach the 70s, and we're tracking a chance of severe weather with alert day conditions. We'll time that out coming up, guys.
All right, sounds good. New this morning, UW-Madison is one of 60 universities receiving notice from the Federal Department of Education for failing to protect Jewish students.
Department officials say they will enforce actions if the institutions don't fulfill their obligations found under Title VI, which protects Jewish students on campus. UW-Madison is the only university in the Wisconsin system to receive this letter.
It comes as protests are spreading across the country after the Trump administration arrested a pro-Palestinian activist from Columbia University. Today, Mahmoud Khalil will have his initial hearing in New York. A group of 14 House Democrats signed a letter to Homeland Security Secretary calling for Khalil to be released. The White House says Khalil's arrest is the first of many. They say they'll detain more people connected with last year's protests around the Israel-Hamas war.
They're trying to scare students into silence and into repression, and we're here to show that we're not scared.
A federal judge has ordered the administration not to deport Khalil until the court reviews the case.
New 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports start today. This could hike some prices for American consumers. U.S. businesses have to pay the tariffs when they import the metals, and the cost could be substantial. The U.S. imported more than $58 billion worth of aluminum, steel, and iron last year. Companies could pass a part or all of the added cost to consumers. Home builders say tariffs have shaken their industry already. Prices also could rise for cars, appliances, machinery, infrastructure, medical devices, power lines, beverage cans, and much more. And this morning, the European Union announced retaliation with new tariffs on industrial and farm products. The tariffs primarily target Republican-held states. So this means soybeans in House Speaker Mike Johnson's home state of Louisiana, also beef and poultry in Kansas and Nebraska, produce in Alabama, Georgia, and Virginia are also on the list. These are set to go in effect on April 1st.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. directing the FDA to eliminate a food safety loophole. The rule is called Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS. It allows manufacturers to add certain food additives without approval. That's if they meet specific criteria that experts have deemed safe for consumption. Critics, though, say it's easy for manufacturers to add ingredients this way to products without a heads up to regulators. Kennedy says eliminating the loophole will get the nation's food supply on track.
The National Transportation Safety Board is urging immediate action to avoid another mid-air disaster at Reagan National Airport. This comes after the January crash that killed everyone on board a passenger jet and a Black Hawk helicopter. The NTSB says there were more than 15,000 instances of helicopters being in close proximity to planes at the airport. That's between October 2021 and December 2024. The NTSB is urging the FAA to permanently prohibit helicopter operations on that route when the two nearby runways are being used.
A major breakthrough in the war in Ukraine. Ukraine says it would accept a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. It comes after some talks in Saudi Arabia yesterday amongst some key contributors. The U.S. says that it would immediately lift a freeze on intelligence sharing and military aid to Ukraine should all parties accept.
In local politics, a Wisconsin Government Efficiency Committee, modeled after Elon Musk's Doge, met at the state capitol for the first time. The committee, known as Government Operations, Accountability, and Transparency, or GOAT, looked into the efficiency of remote work. It came nearly 5 years since the state went on lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It included testimony from state agencies, K-12, and university systems. The Department of Public Instruction says that the advances in remote work allowed them to have a broader geographic presence in Wisconsin.
We can send a staff who is maybe located in, say, Brown County or Southeast, Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee County to interface with the school based on their job a lot easier and a lot cheaper than we can sending them from Madison in a fleet car driving back and forth.
Republicans floated the idea of requiring state workers to come back into office earlier this year. Governor Tony Evers says he would not sign the legislation if it came to him.
Happening today, the West High Civics Club is hosting a town hall style event with Dr. Jill Underly, the incumbent, who is running once again for superintendent of public instruction. The students hosted a similar event with the U.S. Senate candidates last fall. Some topics today will include the need for equity in education and Underly's campaign for re-election. The event is moderated and organized by students. The goal is to provide voting age students insight on one of their choices April 1st.
Rebecca Cook will try to oust Republican U.S. Representative Derek Van Orden again. The Democrat announced her run yesterday. The Eau Claire native ran against Van Orden in the November election. She lost by about 11,000 votes. Cook is the first Democrat to announce plans to run for Wisconsin's 3rd district. The
USDA is ending a program that paid schools and food banks to buy from local farmers. The program is one of 2 funds that provided more than $1 billion to schools and food banks. The State Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection listed 9 different food banks that received funding. One of those is Hunger Task Force. It was set to receive $250,000 in federal grants to buy produce from farms. One of those is Happy Day Farmhouse in Richfield.
Usually we're just out focused on growing things at this point, whereas now we're going to have to be like, okay, what's next? And kind of going back to our winter tasks that we normally don't have to be doing right now.
The program started during the pandemic. The Hunger Task Force partnered with 8 different farmers.
The Public Health Department in Madison and Dane County says it's looking for information about a dog that bit a woman and attacked another dog on Monday. Officials say it happened when the dog ran away from its owner around 5:30 on Monday. It was near the Concord and Mayfair Avenues intersection. The dog is a pit bull that is brindle color. The owner is a middle-aged man. The owner also had another white pit bull that did not participate in the act. If you have any information, you can call the police and fire dispatcher and ask for an animal services officer.
Now to continuing coverage of the Wausau Ethics Board investigation into Mayor Doug Denny. Denny's released a statement saying that he sent the board a statement showing the timeline of him moving an unsecured ballot drop box in front of City Hall. This happened last September. It prompted complaints from Wausau citizens against him in January. He said it's been most difficult to read comments in the press and social media by council members discussing the issue prematurely and passing judgment on me. They did so despite being counseled against doing so. Until now, I resisted giving my side or in airing any dirty laundry on staff or council.
638, Bucks legend and owner Junior Bridgman has passed away. After starring for the Bucks, he launched a successful career as a businessman with stakes in restaurants and publishing. He had returned to Milwaukee as an owner last September. Bridgman was involved in one of the biggest trades in the NBA. The LA Lakers selected him with the 8th pick in the 1975 draft. They sent him to Milwaukee in a trade that brought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the West Coast. Bridgman is survived by his wife and his 3 children. He was 71 years old.
Well, some music here from the band Danu to get you ready for St. Patrick's Day. The Irish band's going to be at the Overture Center this weekend. You can see they've got all sorts of different instruments to bring their ancient Irish music and high-energy performance to town. Their show runs this Saturday at 7:30. Link to tickets can be found at channel3000.com.
Say, 'tis the season. We got the Shamrock Shuffle Talk today, and we also have Irish dancers coming on tomorrow.
That's exciting. Yeah, it's that time of year, you know, feeling lucky.
Yes, real lucky. Well, let's check in with Savannah. Are we feeling so lucky with this forecast?
We are going to see severe weather potentially on Friday, so maybe not so much that day, but at least we'll be dry up until then. We'll talk about the limiting factors and why we could see severe weather Friday coming up.
And we're gearing up for that Shamrock Shuffle in Madison this weekend. News 3 Now, a proud sponsor of this event and giving back to the Boys and Girls Club. And we'll explain how you can get involved in this.
Now this morning, moving forward.
Hi, my name is Joey. I'm from Milwaukee. Hey, Savannah, plan my day.
Well, Joey visiting Madison. Enjoy the temperatures today. It'll be spring-like, a little warmer than what we had yesterday and less breezy, which is some good news. We will see partly sunny skies and temperatures reaching those upper 30s, mid to upper 50s later this afternoon, though. We're tracking alert day conditions later in the day Friday. I think most of the day looks dry. Could see a few very spotty showers in the morning, but then we'll see probably a break in the clouds and very warm temperatures. We're talking about the 70s on Friday afternoon, but for far southwestern Wisconsin, Madison, and southwest, that's where the best chance locally, at least, of severe weather is going to be Friday evening and night. Basically everyone included in this yellow color: Janesville, the city of Madison included in that, Monroe, Lone Rock, Viroqua, Prairie du Chien, Platteville, the Dells, La Crosse. All of those areas are included in that slight risk. That's a 2 out of 5 when we're talking about severe weather. The further north you go, that's the green color, that's the lower end severe threat, but the threat of severe weather is still there. What I think the storms are going to do once they hit Madison and then travel further northeastward, I think they are going to start to break up. We're looking at a time frame after or at least near 10 p.m. So most of the early evening hours even still looking okay to be outside. But then once we get closer to about 8, 9, you need to stick with the First Warn Weather Team. Make sure you have several ways to get watches and warnings. Monitor the forecast. Winds, damaging winds are going to be the biggest threat. Heavy rain and then also all other modes of severe weather are possible. Really hitting on that damaging wind threat, though, as this is going to be a line of thunderstorms that move in to southern Wisconsin and then probably weakening. Let's look at what future track shows. So a couple spotty showers in the morning, and then we'll see a break in activity, maybe some sunshine, peak daytime heating, and then this main line that's going to be southwest of here. This is 7 p.m. so still looking dry, at least across Madison, maybe Platteville getting a shower or two, and then that'll increase in coverage. The darker greens, that's basically those areas where we could see the better chances of severe weather. The better moisture and higher dew points, they have better factors needed to support severe weather. That's further across central Illinois and southward. But thinking this gets in here late in the early nighttime hours and then moves out of here. Really cold air pulls in behind this, though, so we're looking at heavy rain continuing into Saturday with highs down into the mid-50s. But by Sunday, this system, as it moves away from here behind the low, we could even see some light snow showers and then temperatures that could be pushing even the upper 30s, so a huge drop in temperatures.
Okay, yeah, so we're seeing a lot of things shifting. We're going to hit the 70s, and then we got to drop back down.
One day, yeah.
One day.
Yeah, about a little bit of everything in that forecast.
Yeah, at least earlier in the day, Friday will be nice to get outside and enjoy the temperatures, but everyone just needs to, be safe once we get to that evening hour time frame.
And have that plan in place.
Absolutely.
And the First Warn Weather app handy.
Yes.
All right, Savannah, thanks. Hey, you want Savannah to plan your day? She'd love to. Just record a video like you saw earlier. Say your name, where you're at, and then send it through our website, the First Warn Weather app, Facebook Messenger, or email, and watch to see if you make it on the air.
Well, let's switch gears here. We're in the 608 this morning, and we're looking ahead to St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Josh Sprider is live talking about the Shamrock Shuffle and how they're giving back in Madison. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, News 3 Now is once again a proud sponsor of Madison's Shamrock Shuffle, taking place right here on State Street, and it's all helping out a good cause. Claudia Maiden with the Boys and Girls Club is joining us this morning. Claudia, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes, last time we talked to you, we were talking coats for kids, and now we're out here for the Shamrock Shuffle.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited. It's such a fun event, and we can't wait for Saturday.
How does the Shamrock Shuffle work for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a 5K, 10K run as well as a walk. And new this year, we're having a 10K bike ride. So everybody who registers, all of those proceeds go directly to the Boys and Girls Clubs.
I love that. We have some video we want to show folks because people go all out, as they should, for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, they do. Everybody's wearing fun costumes as well as celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
You know, what is it that you guys look for every year in trying to make this event different? I know this year you're adding the bike ride. You're trying to change it all the time because we live in such an active community.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to make sure that everybody feels included and that everybody finds an activity to join us on the Shamrock Shuffle.
You know, for such a great event like this, obviously this is a Madison staple going back, what, a couple of decades?
Yeah, it's been 20 years now. So it's been 20 years of people supporting the Boys and Girls Clubs with our education, our workforce development, everything. So we're very grateful for that.
And I think that's the important thing here is obviously you want to come out, you want to have a good time, but really the end goal in this is something way bigger than all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's helping all of the youth in our communities who need us the most, and everyone shows up for it.
If people are interested and they want to be part of the Shamrock Shuffle, there's still time to sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. You can still register all the way through Saturday at bgcdc.org/Shamrock Shuffle. You can also volunteer if that's your cup of tea as well, and we'd love to have you.
You know, those volunteers, we can't stress enough, are so important in everything that you guys do.
So important. Our volunteers help us year-round, and they're helping us all throughout this week, and we're just very lucky to have them.
Awesome. Well, we're going to make this a great event. Claudia, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And again, if you'd like to be part of the Shamrock Shuffle, again, Saturday morning right here on State Street, just go to channel3000.com. I have everything you need to know. Still plenty of time. We got more than 72 hours to get signed up, guys. It's going to be a great Saturday and a great way to kick off St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for letting us know all about it, Josh. Appreciate it.
Remember to let Josh know what inspires you in the 608. You can reach out either on social media or email us at inthe608@wisc-tv.com for a chance to be featured. Coming up in the morning sprint, researchers looking at a booster to combat misinformation.
Sprint is next. 6:52, time for the morning sprint.
UW-Madison is one of 60 universities receiving notice from the Department of Education for failing to protect Jewish students. The department says they will enforce actions if the institutions don't fulfill their obligations found under Title VI.
New 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports start today. Companies who have to pay the tariffs could very well pass that cost on to you, the consumer. Home builders say tariffs have already shaken up their industry. Prices for things like cars, appliance, machinery, infrastructure, medical devices, power lines, and beverage cans could all go up.
The Department of Education is cutting nearly half of its workforce. Employees received a memo yesterday telling them to vacate their offices and work from home today. The department's offices are now being temporarily closed so layoffs can begin. Those cut will go on administrative leave beginning March 21st. It will take 90 days for the layoffs to take effect.
Ukraine says it would accept a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. It comes after talks in Saudi Arabia yesterday. The U.S. also says that it would immediately lift a freeze on intelligence sharing and military aid to Ukraine.
The State Assembly is considering a bill that would bar transgender athletes from playing college sports. The GOP-backed bill would assign UW and technical college sports teams based on the sex of the participants. The bill also bans trans women or students assigned male at birth from using women's locker rooms. The governor can veto the bill if it makes it past the Assembly and Senate.
Bucks legend and owner Junior Bridgman has passed away. After starring for the Bucks, he launched a successful career as a businessman with stakes in restaurants and publishing. He had returned to Milwaukee as an owner last September. Bridgman is survived by his wife and 3 kids. He was 71 years old.
Southwest Airlines is facing some blowback after its decision to end its free checked bag policy. That starts on May 28th. Southwest has been under pressure from its investors to increase financial performance. The airline's rewards members, credit card holders, and those who book certain premium business seating will still be able to get up to 2 bags checked free after the new policy takes effect.
One way to fight rampant misinformation on the internet: psychological booster shots. A study by the University of Oxford educated people about how to spot misinformation online through messages and educational games. The strategy worked temporarily, but by giving people reminder messages, these booster shots, help participants continue to spot online falsehoods.
It won't be as breezy this afternoon and a little bit warmer than what we had yesterday. Still not as warm as what we were tracking on Sunday, but enjoy the warmer temperatures near 60 this afternoon. And then that warming trend continues at least into Thursday and Friday. By Thursday, we'll have a high of 64, so the lower to mid 60s. And then Friday, yes, we're looking at the 70s. Sounds nice, but then we also have the threat of severe weather at least later in the day. So maybe try to get your plans in out and about early and then adjust those for after the evening because we are tracking a line of showers and thunderstorms that'll move in that could affect your night plans. I do think we're looking at a time frame after 7 p.m. So during the dinner time frame should be okay, but we're really looking at those late evening, early nighttime hours. That's when our biggest threat's going to be. Damaging winds, that's going to be the main concern, along with heavy rains, and then maybe some isolated other threats, including all modes of severe weather, but really hitting on that damaging wind threat.
So a good time to talk about that severe weather plan at home.
Yes, make sure you have that ready to go for Friday night.
All right, Savannah, thank you.
All right. We're back with another news and weather update in 30 minutes.